All right, here we're asked to determine whether or not these functions are even, odd, or neither. So let's take a look at part A first. We're given this function f of x is x squared minus 4. First thing we're going to do is try and figure out if it's even. So to see if it's even, okay, we're testing to see if it's even. What we're going to do is we're going to take our function and instead of plugging in x, we're going to plug in negative x and see what we get. So that means we replace this x with negative x. That's negative x. But don't forget we're going to square it and then subtract 4. But remember, if you take a negative number and you square it, it becomes positive automatically. So that's going to become positive x squared minus 4. Now notice that this right here, f of negative x, which is x squared minus 4, is identical to the original function. And since f of negative x is equal to the original function, we can conclude that it is even. And we can stop and move on to the next problem. Okay, for the next problem, let me erase some stuff here. First thing we're going to do is check to see if it's even. I'm going to look at f of negative x. So I plug negative x in. Let me see here, I'll put it here. This will be negative x, we're going to cube it, and then minus negative x. So I've replaced both of these x's with negative x's. Now when you take a negative number and you cube it, it's going to come out to be negative. So it's negative x cubed. And then minus the negative is going to become plus x. So notice that negative x cubed plus x is not the same as this, and therefore we can conclude that this is not even. Now we go and we check to see if it's odd. To see if it's odd, what we do is we look at negative f of x. Okay? Now negative f of x means we just take the original function here and we make it negative, means changes the sign of this to be negative and that to be positive. So it's negative x cubed plus x. And what we'll see here is that this answer doesn't match that, but it does match this one. And if this negative f of x is the same as f of negative x, which we got here, if these two match, it's odd. So here we'd say it's an odd function, and we'd stop. The main idea here is that to test for even, odd, or neither, you always start with even, then you go to odd, and then if that fails, you go to and you say it's neither. So let's look at our last example here. I'm going to test this one right here, see if it's even first. So the first thing I do is I plug in negative x. When I do that, I'm going to get negative x cubed plus negative x squared. Now when I do that, a negative number cubed is still negative, and a negative number squared is positive. Now I look at this, and I look at the original, and this is x squared. When I look at this and this, they are not the same, so I can conclude it's not even. But I'm going to keep that ready, because I'm going to now look at odd. For odd, I look at negative f of x. That means I'm going to change the signs of everything here. So this becomes negative x cubed minus x squared. And I look at this and I say to myself, okay, now I compare it to that. I say these two are not the same. Well, since these two are not the same, I can say it's not odd. So this particular function for part C was not even, was not odd, and therefore we conclude that the last one there is neither.